The headlines may say that K-pop groups are struggling, but what they really mean is this: the industry is evolving, and Jungkook is leading that evolution. He is both the symbol and the spark of a new generation that values emotion over precision, meaning over spectacle. His silence speaks louder than any marketing campaign. His name alone still trends, his legacy still grows, and his story, unfinished, unhurried, still holds the world in its quiet grasp. Perhaps one day, history will look back and mark this moment as the turning point, the year when K-pop stopped being about groups and started being about people. When the idol became the artist. When Jungkook became more than a member. When the solo era finally began. And maybe, deep down, it already has. When the world began to notice the silent transformation of Jungkook, few realized that they were witnessing the slow dismantling of one of the most powerful entertainment structures in modern history. The traditional system of idol manufacturing, where unity was prioritized over individuality and group perfection over personal expression, had been the foundation of K-pop for decades. But now, with one man's quiet evolution, that foundation was cracking. The story of Jungkook was no longer the story of just one artist. It was becoming a reflection of an entire cultural revolution. Every great shift in music history begins with disruption. The Beatles changed the shape of pop, Michael Jackson reshaped performance art, and BTS globalized the idea of fandom itself. Yet the post-BTS world is discovering something even more intimate, the era when a single human connection matters more than the crowd. In 2025, as the final member of BTS completed military service, millions of fans found themselves returning not to the group, but to a feeling, a memory of Jungkook's voice echoing through streaming platforms, gym playlists, cafe speakers, and airports around the world. It's not just that he remained popular. It's that his popularity now carried the weight of nostalgia, rebellion, and hope. The man who once stood center stage under a billion-dollar brand now stands alone, and the world still looks toward him with the same devotion. That's not marketing. That's mythology. And in that mythology lies the real reason K-pop's landscape has shifted so dramatically. The world has learned to humanize its idols. Jungkook became the symbol of that awakening, not because he chased attention, but because he allowed silence to become his stage. Every moment he vanished, fans filled the void with emotion. Every small return, a brief live stream, a song recommendation, a gym selfie, felt like the return of something sacred. While other K-pop groups fight for chart positions and viral moments, Jungkook doesn't seem to chase them. The industry chases him. Every rookie is marketed as the next Jungkook. Every journalist compares new male idols to him. Every producer seeks to capture the texture of his voice, that balance of silk and smoke, vulnerability and precision. Even Western critics, once skeptical of idol music, now cite Jungkook as an artist who transcended boundaries. The same platforms that once treated K-pop as novelty now treat him as narrative, a man whose career is unfolding like a novel no one can stop reading. But where does that leave the rest of K-pop? The struggle of groups today isn't a lack of talent or production. It's emotional relevance. The formula still works technically, synchronized dances, glossy videos, high-energy hooks, but the soul feels missing. The audience has changed. The generation that grew up watching BTS grow now craves connection, not choreography. They want eye contact that feels human, lyrics that bleed truth, and music that mirrors their chaos. Jungkook delivers all of that with unnerving ease. When his solo tracks reached streaming platforms, they didn't need promotional fanfare. They just existed, and that existence alone was enough to dominate global charts. The difference wasn't in the sound, it was in the sincerity. His songs no longer sounded like they were built for stages. They sounded like they were built for rooms, private, quiet, personal. For a world recovering from exhaustion, that intimacy was everything. Meanwhile, AHOF, the rookie group heralded as the next torchbearer of K-pop, continues to soar. And yet, even their success seems to orbit Jungkook's gravitational pull. Their leader JL's placement at number 3 on the most handsome faces of K-pop 2025 list became a viral topic for precisely one reason: the name at number 4. The comparison reignited the debate about what modern beauty, charisma, and authenticity truly mean in pop culture. The face that once represented a generation still does, even as new ones rise to challenge it. But Jungkook's story is no longer about looks or rankings. It's about endurance. It's about how one person managed to outlast the machinery designed to replace him. The K-pop industry thrives on renewal. It must constantly feed the world's appetite for newness. Yet somehow, Jungkook remains timeless. He has achieved the paradox that every artist dreams of but rarely attains, becoming both the past and the future of his art. Observers from global media outlets have begun to use a new phrase when describing him: post-idol artist. It suggests a freedom beyond the structures that once defined fame in Korea. No longer just the golden magne of BTS, Jungkook stands now as a figure of evolution, a mirror of where the entire genre is heading. The solo era doesn't merely celebrate independence, it redefines the purpose of performance. It's no longer about 7 synchronized beats. It's about one heartbeat, steady, honest, alive. In interviews, Western producers often express fascination with Jungkook's approach to fame. They say he treats celebrity as a burden, not a privilege. He appears to understand the cost of being adored and the danger of losing oneself inside that light. Perhaps that's why his fans love him more fiercely. They see in him a man constantly negotiating between the ordinary and the extraordinary. His vulnerability doesn't make him smaller. It makes him universal. Even economists and cultural analysts have begun to notice the Jungkook effect. Every time he breathes online, digital traffic surges. When his ranking appeared in global handsome face lists, stocks of HYB-related entities briefly spiked. Luxury brands time their campaigns to align with his visibility, knowing that no algorithm can outmatch organic fascination. The industry may speak the language of metrics, but Jungkook speaks the language of moments, and moments, unlike trends, cannot be bought. What's even more compelling is that Jungkook's dominance doesn't seem to threaten his bandmates. Instead, it amplifies them. Each BTS member's individual journey, RM's philosophical artistry, Jimin's emotional precision, V's cinematic charm, Suga's intellectual depth, finds new strength in the wake of Jungkook's success. Together, they no longer resemble a boy band. They resemble a constellation, each star bright enough to shine alone, yet forever part of the same sky. When BTS eventually reunites, the reunion will not be about nostalgia. It will be about rebirth. And Jungkook will likely be at the center of that renaissance, not as the youngest member following the choreography, but as the artist who kept the heartbeat alive during silence. Industry insiders have begun whispering about what might happen next. Could BTS return with a sound shaped by each member's solo journey, a fusion of 7 distinct worlds? Could their comeback redefine the meaning of group in modern music? If anyone could make unity feel new again, it's them. And if anyone could make individuality feel universal, it's Jungkook. The paradox remains the same. While groups struggle to stay relevant, one man's silence keeps the conversation alive. The solo era isn't a rebellion against unity, it's an evolution of it. It's what happens when music finally allows people to be human again. K-pop groups struggle, but Jungkook thrives. Is the solo era finally here? The story of K-pop in 2025 no longer begins with groups. It begins with one name echoing louder than the rest: Jungkook. While the K-pop machine struggles to sustain its once invincible dominance, one artist seems to defy the decline with quiet precision, global magnetism, and an almost supernatural connection with audiences that refuse to let him fade. It feels as though the world is witnessing the slow collapse of a system that once promised eternal unity, only to realize that individuality was always the true engine of emotion. And Jungkook, whether he intended it or not, has become the face of that awakening. For more than a decade, K-pop built itself on the illusion of perfection, synchronized movements, immaculate harmony, 7 members breathing in the same rhythm. But the rhythm has shifted. Since BTS began their military enlistment in 2022, finishing the process by mid-2025, the genre has entered a strange twilight. The landscape that once celebrated collective strength now trembles under the weight of individuality. While entire teams of rookies fight to recreate the energy BTS once embodied, Jungkook's silence alone often generates more attention than a dozen debuts combined. It's not simply popularity anymore. It's resonance, something rarer, deeper, and infinitely harder to manufacture. Even as new groups rise to chase the ghosts of giants, few can compete with the sheer gravitational pull of his presence. The recent emergence of AHOF, a rookie group that shocked the industry with their debut EP, Who We Are, selling nearly 370,000 copies in its first week, momentarily reignited the thrill of discovery. Their leader, jeon, even earned a surprising number 3 spot in the 2025 Top 100 Most Handsome Faces of K-pop list. Yet, one glance below at number 4 revealed the truth of where global fascination still lives: Jungkook's name, shining unshaken. A reminder that the original fire never went out. It's ironic, almost poetic, that Jungkook's power seems to grow most during the years when he's least visible. As his fellow BTS members serve their time and the group's social feeds fall quiet, his influence continues to expand like an echo refusing to fade. The reason is simple but profound. Jungkook's artistry transcends activity. His image is not dependent on promotion cycles or comebacks. He has evolved beyond being a member of a group. He is now a symbol of global modern masculinity, an artist who balances vulnerability with control, humility with power. In every sense, Jungkook represents what the post-BTS era truly means: the liberation of the individual from the institution. The paradox of the current K-pop landscape is cruelly fascinating. The system that created its stars is now struggling to contain them. Agencies are pouring millions into training, production, and marketing, yet failing to replicate the organic connection that fans feel for one voice, one gaze, one artist who doesn't even need to speak to be heard. When Jungkook performed solo before enlistment, his presence filled arenas with the intimacy of a confession. Even through digital screens, he managed to feel near, human, and honest, qualities that no choreography can fake and no company can control. It's easy to romanticize this shift as the natural evolution of an industry, but the truth is harsher. K-pop's obsession with perfection has begun to fracture under the pressure of reality. Fans no longer want flawless idols. They want real stories, in perfect beauty, the trembling truth behind the rehearsed smile. Jungkook embodies that contradiction. He remains a product of the system, yet he also represents its rebellion. He doesn't destroy K-pop, he redefines it. His global success as a soloist, from Spotify milestones to record-breaking collaborations, isn't just a career trajectory, it's a cultural statement. It says that artistry can survive without choreography, and emotion can eclipse spectacle. Even the South Korean government indirectly acknowledged this transformation years ago. The 2020 revision of the Military Service Act, which allowed BTS to defer enlistment until age 30, wasn't just a bureaucratic change. It was national recognition of how deeply pop culture had intertwined with identity and diplomacy. That deferment bought BTS time to expand their global reach, but it also gave Jungkook the space to discover who he was beyond the group. Now, post-service, that exploration feels complete. The world isn't waiting for the idol to return. It's waiting for the artist to speak again. Meanwhile, inside rehearsal rooms across Seoul, new idols are learning to mimic a presence that cannot be taught. The new generation studies Jungkook the way classical musicians study Beethoven, not just to copy his sound, but to understand the mystery of how he moves hearts. Even jeon from AHOF, the rookie sensation being hailed as a monster rookie, has publicly admitted admiration for Jungkook, calling him the artist who made individuality acceptable in K-pop. It's not rivalry anymore, it's inheritance. And yet, what makes Jungkook's dominance so unnerving for the industry is not what he does, it's what he doesn't.